To explore the world beyond the horizons. University is not only about teaching, it's also about research. It's about forming the world of tomorrow. The biggest joy of my life, apart from my family, is working with young people, with students, because it gives me a glimpse into the future. When you talk with young people, you get an idea of what their ideas and dreams and aspirations are all about, and then you can see more or less how the future will unfold. And this is why in Saai we spend such a lot of energy, such a lot of resources in organizing the leaders of tomorrow, those who will shape the future. It's not as if we want to transfer any new knowledge to you. In Saai, we will never have the knowledge which you have here on a campus. And we are definitely not lecturers, professors. We are but farmers. We represent farmers. Not all the farmers. We do not represent the agricultural sector. We do not represent value chains. We represent one stakeholder in the agricultural sector, and that is the farmer on his farm. We specifically represent family farms, smaller and medium-scale enterprises. And in our context in South Africa, a family farmer is not big or small. He's not rich or poor. He's not black or white. He's not well-established or a newcomer to the industry. It's a family who ekes out a living from the soil. If you think Saai, you must always have this picture in your mind of a signpost at the gate of a farm, where there's a name of a farm on it and the name of a family on it, linking a family to a piece of land. That's what we are all about. But more than that, it's not only about the family on the farm. We have an agenda, and it's not a hidden agenda. We preach it all over here in South Africa, in the region, because we also have a lot of members elsewhere in SADC. Lately, we are running big programs in Zimbabwe for the farmers who lost land in Zimbabwe. We are right in the middle of the battle for compensation and the restoration of rule of law in that country. Our agenda has got to do with a certain value system. And when we engage with students, it's about that value system. You see, whether you go to Russia or to the Ukraine, or to Argentina, or New Zealand, or Canada, or Kenya, or here in South Africa, farmers have one thing in common. They are usually the more conservative part of society. Not necessarily politically conservative, not necessarily conservative in terms of religion, often that too. They are conservative in terms of family values, because the family on a farm is something different than a family in the city. Family on the farm spends much more time together than a family in the city. They still eat together. They still share responsibilities. They have to talk to each other in the morning and in the evenings to say, what did you do today? Because that will determine how I will fulfill my responsibility tomorrow on this farm. Farming family always looks beyond the current generation, whether they look back or whether they look forward. But there's something multi-generational in all the planning and all the discussion in a family, in a farming family. There's something about passing on, whether it's a farm, the land, the presence in a value chain, the surname, the family name, which becomes a brand, the expertise and experience. You always look beyond the horizon in your planning in a family on a farm. And it's because children who were raised on farms are also different to children who were raised in the cities. children who were raised on a farm has a different perspective on life. Probably because they see death. You don't see that in the city. It happens in a hospital or in a clinic or in a laboratory. But it is this special attributes of farming families that is very dear to us, very close to our hearts. And never before in the history of our food systems have that concept of the family farm been under more pressure than right now. It was crystal clear in the United Nations Food System Summit of 2021 that there's a big push for centralization of power in our food systems. Because all over the world, big farmers are growing bigger and bigger, and smaller farmers are dropping out of the industry, and the economy of scale really determines the feasibility of a farming operation. And it becomes like the game of Monopoly. You know, when you play Monopoly, it always ends the same. One or two players have everything, and the rest drop out of the game. And of course, we are heavily criticized. We were criticized earlier this year again, that trying to push back on that is like trying to break the waves in the sea with your bare fingers. But we believe it's worthwhile to save the family farm. We believe it's worthwhile to push back against urbanization. We firmly believe that we need to do something to ensure that a career, a profession, a livelihood in the rural areas remains a viable alternative. But for that, for the life of small towns, it is very important to recruit the brightest young minds to take the lead in developing and maintaining the rural areas. I'm a farmer. I farm in the Tsenin area in the Letaba district. And sadly, our district has become a battlefield of ghost towns. When I started farming 25 years ago, it was in Trichardstal, and it was still a town. Of course, we had a kooperasie, and we had a primary school, and we had a church. Only every second Sunday we had a sermon, and we cheated in the primary school. We had a cupboard with school uniforms for children who were not in the school, and when the inspector came out, we borrowed a few children from a neighboring school until they caught us out and they closed the primary school down. And when the primary school was out, very soon the church was also gone. So we all had to go to Letsetele. And when you need to go to Letsetele for some of your business, you take all your business there. And that was the end of Trichardstal, and also of Kulaku, of Gravelot, of Rubbervale, of Mketsi. It's very important for the maintenance of a rural alternative to city life that enterprises on small and medium farms remain profitable. No matter where you read, you will always see that at the core of the agricultural agenda is sustainability. Let me tell you something. Sustainability does not trump profitability. It's the other way around. If a farm is not profitable, it's not sustainable. And agriculture is a business. A business needs to make profits. Unfortunately, the reality of 2023 is that every farmer is every day in competition with the best other farmers in the world. And to be top in that competition, you need to embrace the latest technology. You need to know what the technology can do for you. You need to be able to make every seed count, every drop count, every square meter of your fields or your orchards count. You need to produce more on less all the time, and with less all the time. It's those who manage to do that who comes out top in the global competition too. It's important for us that you students, you will be farmers leaders in 10 years from now. You will be CEOs in agribusinesses in 10 years, 20 years from now. You will be the heartbeat of the rural alternative to city life. That you understand that part and that you adopt this agenda to make the family farmer survive, and along with it, the special value system. Saai is involved with students because we know that students is the cream of the crop in terms of human capital, and students are the leaders of tomorrow. We have similar structures at other universities. We have launched Trots some 18 months ago, and Trots became a massive force on that campus. You see them all over campus with their shirts on. And it also, as an unplanned bonus, gave us a beautiful relationship with that faculty. Because, and ladies and gentlemen, even if you forget everything I say today, remember this part. The most important calling for organized agriculture is to influence policies, is to advocacy. But to influence policies, you need to have policies. And to have policies, you need to have farmers who are bosses on their land, who are thinking for themselves, who are independent. You need them to have consensus on where we need to go. And it's not easy to create that consensus. But it's about a little more than just that. It is also about seeing the baboon behind the mountain, about the ability to read the future. You can only plan for the future if somehow you can read it and then decide on how you need to influence outcomes. It's our way of trying to influence the future. It's engaging young students. And it's not only because you will have a good qualification one of these days and that will empower you to have a good job somewhere in the agricultural arena or to go back to the farmers and take lead in your communities. It is also because we know that beyond the qualification, there is the ability to do research. You understand science. What you need to remember is that if our own policies, if our own dreams and aspirations are not based in science, they are worthless. The future will walk you out. The answers we have today must still be valid in 10 years from now, and in 20 and 50 years from now, and it's only possible when we embrace science, when we take the hands of scientists. And this is why it's important for us to be close to the universities, the faculties, close to the scientists. And if the scientists give us a yellow card or a red card, then we must do our job good. We cannot demand science-based policies from policymakers when our own policies are not based in science. And this is the true value of young students in agriculture. They understand the relevance of science. Without that, the smaller and medium enterprise on farms, family farms, will not have a future. Thank you to the media, thank you to the professors and the lecturers from the faculty who are also here. Thank you to all the friends of agriculture who are here today, sharing our launching of Kovsies Agri. We also invite you to share in our dream of a vibrant sector in 20 years and in 50 years from now. And we will only have that if we can influence those who will lead the sector in the future. Thank you so much.
On behalf of the youth of South Africa and the students, Dr. Theo, I just want to thank you for everything you do for us. Next up, Prof. Frankie on the University of Free State. Goedemorgen julle. Good morning. Julle stil my. Dit is nie op klas nie. Wel dan, Frankie Maria, here of the Department of Agricultural Economics at the University of the Free State. But then I'm also acting as the, not acting, and I want to say the president of the student, or the old Agricultural Student Society, which is now relaunched as Kovsies Agri. A bit of history, I was on the Student Agricultural Society back in 2006, I think. And then we operated quite a lot different. The big reason was that we had a different pool of students. Almost all the students studying there came from France, which is not the case now anymore. I think about 90% of our agricultural students do not come from France anymore. And there's a good reason for that. In the past, you came to study agriculture because you wanted to contribute to a body of knowledge you already knew something about. You came from a farm, you want to contribute to the science of agriculture to basically take agriculture forward. The rest of the students had much more exciting opportunities. I remember when I was in high school, the study of IT, information technology, actually became a thing. And everyone just wanted to go into computers. So the student numbers, I don't know if you can remember, but we went a lot. I think back in 2006-07, all the students combined may have been 80 in the first year level in agriculture. Just at the end of last week, we looked at our first year numbers for this year, and we are at, I have to do quick calculations now to add it to campuses, but we are basically at 490 first year students. Now from 80 back in 2005-06 to 290 shows something has changed. And a big reason for that is agriculture became sexier again. There's technology involved. There's a lot of other processes involved. It's not only, as Dr. Few have said, they are here for a primary farmer as Saai, but agriculture is nowadays so much more than that. You can sit in an office all day and be part of the agricultural value chain and make a difference. And it's the young people that is making agriculture sexy again. It's the young people that want to be involved in the sector. No matter the reason, you want to be a primary farmer, or if you want to become involved in the rest of the value chain. The thing is, the university plays a very big role in this chain. Dr. Few and I talked about artificial intelligence just now, and we are all either excited or scared by things like ChatGPT. The thing is, it's great initiatives. It provides answers for quick questions, but it will never take away the role that humans play. You are at university level to change the fundamental side of agricultural research, to come up with new ideas, and that artificial intelligence cannot do. So I'm quite proud of the leadership of Kovsies Agri that took hands with Saai to relaunch this initiative. I think it's a great thing. In the media verklaring, or you call it, that's in church, you will see that it's also not just for agricultural students. Because I think as South Africans, most of us, whether you came from a farm or not, have a little bit of agriculture in our hearts. As we all, I think, maybe except for Pretoria, Joburg, Durban and Cape Town, there is no other cities. We are all relatively quite close to agriculture. I think most of the people in South Africa still know where food comes from. most of the readers of magazines like Landbou Weekblad or Veeplaas is not farmers. There's a lot of people purchasing these magazines as they just want to feel part of the agricultural sector. I think another thing that we as Kovsies Agri can be quite proud of, when Phil Francois initially started to talk to us about relaunching and getting involved from Saai side in the Agricultural Student Society. We had a discussion and I said, you are doing great work at Taxelanka. Over the last 2 years, 18 months, on social media we have seen how Taxelanka really went from strength to strength, and that was since Saai really became involved. Before that I knew there was something but we didn't really see anything. And then Francois said to me, yes, but they actually decided to take hands because of the good work that the Kovsies Agricultural Student Society was doing. So I think coming from a good place, taking hands with a strategic partner in Saai can only take us to higher levels. And I'm really excited about the future. I'm really excited about the fact that we have a society that will bring not only agricultural students, but other students who really wants to be part of agriculture, wants to know more about agriculture, together in Bloemfontein, in the heart of the province, in the Free State, to really get young people again involved in agriculture, primary, the value chain, and then on university level where we do the research. So I want to say thank you to Saai, all of you that are here today. Thanks for all the money and effort and leadership that you have put into this initiatives in Kovsies Agri. And then I want to say thank you to Nicola and her team, all of the new Kovsies Agri Saai shirts. I think you did a sterling job, and I hope this afternoon when the students register, there will be many of them, and that we can really take this Kovsies Agri as the new society to really high levels. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Next up, Nicola Witt, the head chairperson.
Good day. I want to welcome you to the new face and launch of the identity of Kovsies Agri. I'm Nicola Witt, a third-year agronomy student, and I have a great passion for farming and the people that comes along. Firstly, I want to thank Saai for the great investment they made in us, the young students. It's such a privilege to take hands with you and share the passion you have for the students. We are looking forward to what the year may hold in for us, and I'm very excited for the new opportunities and expansion of the committee. Kovsies Agri is much more than just an organization at the University of the Free State. It's a dynamic group of students who focus on closing the gap between the agricultural value chain and the farmers of tomorrow. Our goal is to broaden the students' knowledge by focusing on practical experience as well as network opportunities of the various fields of agriculture, which will include farm visits, social events, practical experiences and scholarships. We have a few projects on hand. We will assist at the women's shelter by planting crops on a piece of land they own, or when we will educate personnel on how to generate food for the shelter. We will also be taking part in one of the major projects in Bloemfontein, the street store. It's a project that allows people to donate clothes and shoes to people in need. The committee will aim to arrange buses to make it possible for students to attend Nambu and give them the opportunity to experience this great agricultural expo. We want to take students to Farmers' Day and expose them to practical courses such as artificial insemination, wool classification and livestock management. Throughout the year, we will give students the opportunity to attend informative days about agriculture, farming and the possible career opportunities in the agricultural fields. We're also planning on hosting a Farmers' Day for women to give the ladies in the agricultural field the opportunity opportunity to see the great successes that women have achieved in the agricultural sector and to show them that it is possible for women to thrive as farmers. Kovsies Agri will be hosting social gatherings such as our famous agricultural informals, which will allow students to doze some steam and enjoy some friends and good music. At the end of the year, we will be hosting our yearly agricultural formal, which is possible for students and lecturers to attend to give them the opportunity to say farewell at the end of the year. Therefore, it is for the benefit of the students to be a member of the new and innovative Kovsies Agri, which will also include our new shirt with the logo on. We are thrilled to launch Kovsies Agri and provide students with a unique opportunity to gain practical experience and feel part of a community that is passionate about agriculture. We want to provide students with social gatherings and events that they will remember lifelong. A great time to university will be remembered for. We will also be creating a community that can go forward. I believe that agriculture is the backbone of our economy, and it's essential to equip students with skills and knowledge to make a positive impact on the industry, as we are the leaders of tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicola. I just want to thank everyone for being here, and we will have a question and answer session now.
Is there any question to ask the new committee and the new members? And thank you for coming today, we appreciate it.
Mooi zo'n linkje hoor, als een kras. Ik wil het niet te veel.
Ja.
You can get something to eat and to drink.
While we are here, can I use this opportunity to say from the hearts of the farmers out there, thank you, Frikkie, to you, your department and your colleagues, for raising the next generation of farmers. There's never an opportunity for farmers to say thank you to those who are forming the leaders of the future. You are precious to us. Thank you that you don't see it only as a job, as a way to earn a salary. Thank you for the portion of yourselves you are investing in our sector.
to